I always say that people is my purpose now. And when it comes to what I do on a daily basis, everything I do revolves around people. It revolves around either working to support my team, thinking about our customer, thinking about the leaders that I work with to align with them on strategy. As an IT leader, you quickly learn that it's more than just about the technology. You have to really understand how to work well with people and also engage in coaching and training and teaching them to get the same opportunities that you had.
Hi everybody, I'm Rashmi Jain, CIO partner at Zeal IT Consultants. Welcome to another episode of our podcast, Navigating Technology with Zeal. Every episode we take the opportunity to introduce you to a seasoned and up-and-coming leader in the IT world because we have the privilege of being exposed to so many clients, so many thought processes that we want to take that to the next level and share that knowledge and wealth of information and expertise across the board because we feel that we are in a very privileged spot to have access to that information. So our guest today, I say that some leaders are born, some leaders are trained, but some people are just leaders. They intrinsically, inherently bring that capability, whether it is coaching their soccer team, being on a local ISD board, leading a up-and-coming retail technology department. It just comes very naturally to them, and as a result of that, people around them learn, grow, blossom, and those are the leaders that we follow because we look up to them and aspire to be like them. So it is our great honor and privilege to have with us today Kevin Holland, who's VP IT at Brookshire's. Thank you, Kevin, for being here today.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that introduction.
Absolutely. I would love to start with your own professional journey. How did you end up in technology, and what was the path that led you to finding your way to tech?
Yeah. Well, interesting story. I grew up in a small town with only 3,000 people, a small town called Hawkins, Texas, and for some reason they had an IT class, a computer science class when I was growing up. So I decided to take that class my junior year and got into development. We were programming in Pascal, and I found that it was something that I was interested in. I really enjoyed it. Ended up going into a UIL competition with the school, and we made it all the way to state.
Oh.
So it was immediately I knew this is my skill. This is something that I have that's my superpower, and I enjoyed it. And so one of the things that I always thought is, what would I do with my life as far as career? I wanted to do something that was profitable, but I also wanted to do something that I would enjoy. And that's how I got into computers, starting in high school. My journey went on to college. I got a presidential scholarship to Prairie View A&M University. Throughout my time there, I was learning new programming languages. I was learning about networking. I was learning more than just one skill set. And I ended up interning at NASA Johnson Space Center.
Oh, wow.
So I interned at NASA Johnson Space Center, and I was working more in the support realm. At the time, they were trying to remove Macs and bring in PCs. So I was a part of that conversion process, and so that was my first time actually being able to work in a support role. I then was able to propose a grant for us to continue and do a co-op. So that was my first time to be able to write a grant in college. We ended up building a lab at the college after that grant to work throughout the school year. So we were able to go to class and then go and continue our co-op at NASA in the lab. So
you got an internship at NASA, which is actually quite an accomplishment for a young college student to begin with. But then you use that to bring that benefit back to your university?
Absolutely. And so it only transformed from there. We ended up taking some pictures in the uniforms that, if you've ever seen Apollo, they had the NASA uniform, the astronaut uniform. So we wore those uniforms in a picture, and they published it in one of the publications for the university. So that obviously was a propeller in my career, because when we had the career fair, that magazine was placed on all of the organization's tables. And so, needless to say, I got a lot of interviews and a lot of opportunities coming out of college. So that kind of propelled my career, and I ended up going to work for Accenture at the time.
Okay. So that started your foray into the true professional life of an IT professional, management consulting. I think such a good way to start to get expertise across various different industries. But if I read your profile right, you quickly moved industry side. You did not stay in management consulting. What prompted that shift?
So I think, I spent a lot of time on the consulting side, and I really enjoyed the experience, like you said, working more for clients and ensuring that we were able to produce for them. I really saw the need for me personally to take some time. I've actually fell in love with my current wife, and I decided I would prefer to have a job that had more regular scheduled hours, something that was a little bit more stable, less travel. So that I moved into more of the industry realm, and I moved into Hertz Data Center. So it was my first job coming out of consulting. So ended up being an integration developer there. Really enjoyed that role. It allowed me to kind of leverage some of the skills that I had learned, but also learn to work with other organizations. Hertz obviously had several integrations with other partners.
Right.
So that was something that gave me that opportunity to kind of expand on my skills and learn more about how to integrate and work with other organizations.
And then how did you end up at Brookshire's?
So I'm actually from Hawkins area, which is in East Texas, where Brookshire's is located in Tyler, Texas, in East Texas. And so I decided I wanted to move back home. We wanted to start a family, and we decided, what better place than somewhere where I had all of my family around. I've got my mother, my grandparents, my siblings, and so we moved back to East Texas. And so I decided to jump into a different area that I'd never worked in, web development. And so Brookshire's hired me as a web developer coming in from Hertz Data Center. I actually had done development, but I had never really done much on the website, which is a little bit different from a software development standpoint. As we got into some of the more technical skill sets and skills that were required, I had to learn different programming language. I had to learn how to adapt to some of the changes that were coming in the industry, one of those being mobile. And it was interesting, my first mobile app that I developed, I remember one of the leaders saying, who would want to look at this little device?
Yes.
Why would I leverage this little device instead of just going straight to a computer? And I remember my boss and I kind of looking at each other like, oh, okay, he probably doesn't understand where the industry is going to go. And it was very quickly that the mobile apps started to take over and start to evolve, and we quickly moved into developing more mobile applications than we did web applications. And so my career blossomed there because I really focused in on not just developing, but managing the projects from start to finish, from gathering the requirements all the way to delivering. And I still remember my first time standing in front of a group of people training them. A group of the whole office came in to learn, and I had to do a training for that office. And so really, my career blossomed from that, because as a developer, you don't get that kind of exposure. A lot of times you're in the back siloed cubicles and you're working on one particular program. But this was an opportunity for me to kind of gain that exposure, but also understand that this is the bigger picture.
Right.
And so I was given the opportunity to move into the project management realm. And as I became a project manager, obviously I was influenced by other leaders who I was able to work with in other departments and other divisions of the company, better understanding the need for aligning with business strategy, as well as just the IT strategy. So my career kind of blossomed because I had that exposure, but I also had a better understanding of what the end goal was versus just working in technology.
Right. I think that there's so much to unpack there. I have like 20 questions going through my head right about now. But looking at your illustrious career at Brookshire's, right, 17 plus years, and you worked your way up. I feel like parenting, career tracks are similarly, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's such a personal fit situation. Yeah. But for people that are up and coming in the field, students that are looking at technology as an industry, as an option, the common idea is you switch jobs every 3 to 5 years. Yep. If you want to grow, stay ahead of the curve, make more money. What is your personal advice for having stayed at Brookshire's as long as you've been there, and you're continuing on and you're very happy there? What is your advice from that standpoint to how the different flavors unfold from a career track standpoint?
Yeah, I definitely understand why there are people who move from career to career, or industry to industry, or job to job. I think it's really about each person's individual journey. Right. As you're going through your career, you're going to find that there are opportunities that are available, and there's sometimes that you're going to feel like you're growing faster than the opportunities are available. And I think for me, one of the things that really helped me to stay at Brookshire's was just the culture of the organization. I really felt like I was given the opportunities to grow. A lot of opportunities were presented that gave me opportunities to expand beyond my current capabilities, and forced me to learn new skills, forced me and challenged me to be better at public speaking, forced me to take opportunities to learn about the business, learn about the operations, learn about the needs of our business, and really gain that skill set to align and to coordinate and to negotiate with some of our business leaders versus just work in the technical realm. So 17 years is a short period of time at Brookshire's. There are a lot of partners in our organization that have worked there 30, 40 years. And so I consider myself still a newbie sometimes when I look around the room, but it's an organization that allowed us to have that type of career and for you to grow. So.
Right. And that's such a good reflection of how a two-way street that is. I have a philosophy that you should show up at work every day as long as you look forward to showing up at that place of work every day, right? And so it seems like you were lucky in aligning what brings you joy to a career path early on, and having exposure to a small town in Texas, having exposure to the right tech stacks. And then from there on, you aligned yourself with the right org that sees your talent and skills and appreciates it, and then you add value. So if somebody was starting out in their career, right, there were so many good pieces of advice that you just gave in how you personally move forward, right? What would you recommend from your personal experience that's been your driver to say, because I know that most all leaders, it's always about what's next, whether it's a challenge or opportunity or project, a title, but it's always you're looking for that next. So how do you what drives you? What do you look forward to every day?
Yeah, I think it evolves in your career, right? As a programmer, I enjoyed solving problems. I enjoyed taking on different tasks every day that would help me to be value to the organization. I think when you start to look at leadership, your focus changes, your goals changes, your ambitions change, and it becomes less about that individual task and more about the big picture. Right. You're really focusing in on your team and ensuring that, hey, I'm going to be there to support them and ensure that they're able to be successful and have the same opportunities that I have. And also, you want to make sure that you're focusing on the execution and the strategy of the organization. And so I think when you combine that, your goals, your ambitions, and your drive change as you mature in your career.
Right. And so you should be open to those opportunities, right? You look forward to embracing those challenges.
Absolutely. I mean, IT is what I call transformational change. Everything that we deal with, everything from the mobile technology, from digitalizing our industry. I've seen processes move from paper processes to technical processes, things that we did manually. When you think about retail, you think about ordering, and you think about the warehouse, and you think about processes that were all manual or handled on tablets, and your promotions and your pricing strategies. Now in this digital age, you have to be prepared for all of the change and all of the automation that comes along with that.
So if you were to get to keep one aspect of your job, because we show up and our jobs are so multifaceted, right? There's things we like, there's things sometimes like budgeting that we don't like as much, right? If there was that one aspect of your job and somebody said you get to just do this for the rest of your life, this one aspect, what would that be?
I always say that people is my purpose now. And when it comes to what I do on a daily basis, everything I do revolves around people. It revolves around either working to support my team, thinking about our customer, thinking about the leaders that I work with to align with them on strategy. So I would say the people perspective. That proponent I didn't start there. I started in the technology realm,
Right.
but as an IT leader, you quickly learn that it's more than just about the technology. You have to really understand how to work well with people and also engage in coaching and training and teaching them to get the same opportunities that you had.
Yeah, absolutely. It's growing that next generation of leaders that is so
Absolutely.
important. I think we all have to strive towards working ourselves out of our jobs, right?
Absolutely.
So the next set of people are ready. So looking at retail industry, right? There used to be a time when I first started in technology that you'd be a marketing company or a healthcare company or a retail company. Now, everybody's a tech company.
Yep.
Tech is at the heart of every operation and driving some significant changes in all industries across the globe. What is it that you're comfortably able to share with us from a retail standpoint that Brookshire's working on that you would consider to be the next generation cutting edge tech development?
Obviously, when I think grocery retail, it's what you just stated is people don't really consider that as a tech industry.
Right.
And when you look at the global market and how things are changing, our customer base is changing. You have to be able to present a digital front for your customers. You have to be able to be more efficient in your processes. And so it doesn't matter the organization or the industry. We all are impacted by that. And so it's interesting. Sometimes I'll go to career fairs and I'll tell some of the students that I work for Berkshire Grocery Company, and they're like, "Oh, what store?" And it's always funny because I have to explain to them we have a technology department because now everything is driven by technology. If it was up to some of the teens that like my son, they would have everything delivered to them directly to their bedroom and handed to them. The next generation wants everything quicker. They want it immediate, they want it efficiently, and they want it conveniently.
Yes.
And so the grocery industry, no matter what industry you're working on, you have to be thriving to build technologies and solutions that are going to meet the demands of the future.
So true, so true. And there's such a focus on personalized experiences as well, right? Whether you're visiting a website or a retail location, the focus is on not just the UI, UX aspect of it, but more knowing your consumer like they're your friend, right? Is Brookshire moving in that direction from a more personalized shopping experience?
I don't think there's any grocer that is not moving to that. I think at the end of the day, you have to understand the customers and the consumers that you're serving. If you're not looking at the data and understanding from an analytics perspective what it's saying, not just looking at it just for a report or gathering data, but actionable data. How do you address it? How do you become more efficient? I think that's going to always be the key. So yeah, that yes and yes is definitely something that our organization is going to be faced with in any other grocery retailer.
Right. That makes perfect sense. Going back to leadership, going back to talking about people, I get a feel that that's a big focus in how you lead at Brookshire's is your team and the people that report up to you, your colleagues. So almost a 360 view of leadership, so to speak. And I happened to notice a quote by Nelson Mandela that you had saying that education is the only tool that can help us facilitate change the world, right? A change in the world. What are your recommendations, suggestions for young people that are looking at technology as a career or people looking to shift into technology as a career later in life? What do you recommend from an educational focal point from that standpoint?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I think about when I think about training and preparing the future generations, obviously as leaders, we have a responsibility to prioritize their training and to prioritize their growth. And so I start with peer tutoring, peer mentoring is probably where you begin from a leadership level. Obviously there's webinars, there's classes and courses you can assign people to and send them to workshops. But I think it starts with that peer mentoring, making sure that you identify that talent, those who want to grow in their careers, and giving them opportunities, not just mentoring, but also give them opportunities to take on leadership roles. And it's something that I pride myself in, because when you see that that partner or that employee grow in their career and they start to take on more responsibility, and you really kind of see them kind of develop, you know that that's something that you had a play in and you had a part of. So I think every leader should take that seriously, the growth of their own teams, but also I think it's also the responsibility of each individual. Right. Self-learning is key. Yes. Taking the opportunity to learn, whether it's reading magazines or reading articles, whether it's doing research, whether it's joining webinars, and getting a better understanding of all the tools and the technology. Again, like I said, this is a transformational change industry, and things move very quickly. And so what was relevant yesterday may not be relevant today. What we thought may be the buzzword could change tomorrow. Yes. And so I think the key is always understand that it's your responsibility to continue to learn, and accept change. Don't resist it. Like I mentioned before, I think the leader that was concerned that mobile apps couldn't be leveraged because the screens were too small. Right. Don't be the person that resists and assumes that things aren't possible. Find ways to make it possible. Find ways to make it more efficient, and you'll find yourself growing in your career.
So true, so true. What do you do personally to keep that continuing education going for yourself?
I mentioned some of it. It's webinars, it's research partners like Gardner, going to events or going to conferences is another one. Having my own mentors in the industry that I reach out to and have discussions with. We also have shared groups that you can reach out to in your industry, and partners, share group partners that we work with. So all of those things are, your tool set you use as a leader to stay engaged and understand where your industry trends are going.
Right. That's very well said. And I see that you're very involved in your community as well. You are on a local ISD board, you're a soccer coach. Is that your way of giving back and or unwinding from the busy schedule and life that you have at work?
Yes, I truly do believe in giving back to the community. So when you think about, the communities and the customers that we serve, it's important for us to be a part of that community, not just to sell groceries, not just to be a part of their daily groceries, but also be a part of their lives, be a part of the community, support them, serve the community. So, soccer coach was a fun opportunity for me to give back. I actually had a chance a couple of days ago to mentor one of my former soccer players. And so opportunities like that, the bonds that you kind of build in the community, they are important. So I enjoy giving back, and I really like supporting the community. So.
That's wonderful. It's so important because we're also interconnected.
Absolutely.
To be able to grow together, and that you find the relevance in that. Going back a little bit, because I am getting such a sense of authentic leadership is what I'm sensing here, and you have such a heavy focus on that throughout your career. What are some other things that you would recommend from more a team building and mentorship standpoint that other leaders can adopt that have worked so well for you?
One of the things that we are engaged in now, I lead our Engage IT team at Brookshire's, which is kind of a culture building branch of our department. It's important as we look at more hybrid and remote opportunities for IT careers. We need to engage with those individuals, and we need to ensure that we're supporting them. And we're building a culture because ultimately you want them to have some type of loyalty, the same type of loyalty you have for the organization. You want to get to know them. I feel like people getting to know each other work better together. Yeah. And so it's important to build those relationships and ensure that we have an environment that's cohesive and collaborative and respectful.
Very well said. So I think this is critical because I know as a leader myself, everybody looks at us and goes, how do you do it all, right? You, between your MBA, your PMP, your illustrious career, family, soccer coach, Tyler ISD board, there's definitely something to be said about finding a balance. I know that people that are passionate find a way to get things done and find a way to add more to their plate, but it's also a balancing act. And I know that people that work with us look to us even our children, right? And how we're finding that balance in life.
Yeah.
How do you balance life and everything you've got going on?
One of my traits is being a planner. You have to plan in order to be able to have balance.
Right.
At the end of the day, you're going to have life events, you're going to have work events that are outside of your control. But for the most part, you should be able to put together a plan on how you approach your life and your work, and you stick to it. And I think that really helps to give you that work-life balance. If you go into it chaotically every week and every day, it's a lot more difficult.
Right.
But I respect leaders who give their teams that same opportunity.
So
Anytime that I see a team that's overworked or working a lot of overtime, the first thing I say is, how did we plan for this?
Right.
So we have to make sure that we plan in order to give our teams and our employees the work-life balance as well. So.
Very well said. And then how do you unwind? What are your fun things to do in your downtime? What do you like to do?
So I attempt to do this thing called golf. I'm probably more spending my time chasing the balls. I also enjoy playing basketball with my son. Mm-hmm. We'll go outside in the evenings and we'll turn the lights on and we'll just shoot hoops. As they become teens is a lot harder.
Yes.
To find things that we connect on, but that seems to be something that we stay connected on. So just going out shooting some hoops with him and supporting them. My daughter and my son both have activities, and so as a parent, we start to circle their lives, and really that's where our focus goes, and that helps me unwind.
Right. The family time, the downtime, and connecting back with the people at home. That's so awesome. So again, coming back to leadership, it's always what's next. Yep. People are asking you that, you're contemplating that yourself. So personally, professionally, what you see in the tech space, what's next for Kevin?
Well, I almost feel like that's a rhetorical question when you think about technology, because we're all hearing two letters, AI.
So true.
And I think, as we start to leverage artificial intelligence, we really have to figure out how to harness that as leaders. We're going to see a huge transformational change in our industries. And I think the key is being able to govern it and being able to communicate it to our partners in organizations, because there's a lot of fears, there's a lot of doubts, there's a lot of concerns around it.
Yes.
So really figuring out how do we harness this to better the lives of the people around us, to better our organizations, to be more efficient, to better our companies, to be more competitive in our industries. So I feel like that's really where the industry is going to drive. Me personally, I've always lived by one motto, and that's add value, and continue to add value no matter where I am. And so throughout my career, I've been given opportunities, and the first thing I do is I sit down and I kind of put together goals and objectives of where I want to go and how I want to contribute. Because ultimately it comes down to being able to add value in whatever career, whatever path you're in.
Absolutely. I think that's the perfect way to end this podcast. Add value wherever you're at. And I'm going to quote you from your LinkedIn that said the room to be in often is the room for improvement. And I think that has been sort of the theme of our conversation. So truly appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy schedule to spend time with us and our viewers, not only talking about your own personal journey, about your illustrious career, but also enlightening us on the latest techs and trend. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.